During the whole of a dark, dull, and soundless day in the winter of the year I was alone, and at length found myself within reach of the melancholy House of Usher. I know not how it was, but with my first glimpse of the house after so long, an unexpected sense of insufferable gloom pervaded my spirit. What was it? What unnerved me so in the presence of the House of Usher? Its proprietor, Roderick Usher, had been one of my boon companions in boyhood, but many years have passed since our last meeting. I scanned more narrowly the real aspect of the building. In his letter to me, Roderick spoke of acute bodily illness, of a mental disorder which oppressed him, and brought an earnest desire to see me, as his best, and indeed his only personal friend, in an attempt to alleviate some of his malady, and I accordingly obeyed forthwith what I still considered to be a very singular and haunting summons. I gazed upon him with a feeling, half of pity, half of awe. At first, I thought it to be an overdone cordiality. It was with great difficulty that I could bring myself to admit the identity of the man before me with the companion of my early boyhood. He entered into what he conceived to be the nature of his malady. The odors of all flowers proved oppressive. His eyes were tortured by even a faint light. I began to question my worthiness of being present for my friend, who now existed in a world of which I held no key.
I shall perish. I dread the events of the future. I feel that the moment will sooner or later arrive when I must abandon life and reason together. In some struggle with the grim phantasm, fear.
But what do you fear, Roderick? I must know what it is that torments you in every moment.
I admit that this gloom that has afflicted me can be traced back to a long and severe illness. I speak of my tenderly loving sister, Madeline.
Roderick spoke with such bitterness, which made me shudder. And I could tell of his complete devotion towards his sister.
Madeline, her decease will leave me as the last of the ancient race of Ushers.
His voice trembled as he recounted how, even in her youth, Madeline would fear the outside world. Roderick loved his sister for her purity, but the foreboding doom was forever present.
Madeline. She's gone.
The Usher's life of loneliness will mean there will be no heir. At the request of Roderick Usher, I had personally aided him in the arrangements of the temporary entombment.
She is gone. Madeline is dead. She has left me.
And now, some days of bitter grief have elapsed. An observable change came over the features of the mental disorder of my friend. I beheld him gazing upon vacancy for long hours, in an attitude of profoundest attention, as if listening to some imaginary sound. It was no wonder that his terrifying condition was creeping upon me. The wild influences of his fantastic, yet impressive superstitions.
Have you not seen it? Then you shall! You must behold it! I hear it. I've heard it. We have put her living in the tomb. I now tell you that I heard her first feeble movements in the hollow coffin. I heard them many days ago. Yet I dare not speak. The rendering of her coffin, and the grating of the iron hinges of her prison, and her struggles within the copperhead archways of her vaults.
Be calm, Roderick. It's all in your head.
Is she not hurrying to upbraid me for my haste? Have I not heard the footsteps on the stairs? Do I not distinguish that heavy and horrible beating of her heart?
The vision before me will stay burnt into my very soul and haunt me for the end of my days.